I hate that I pre-plan my end of year specials. On the other hand, it causes me less stress as I feel like I'm ahead of my self-imposed deadline. On the other hand, it means if I get clotheslined by a gem just before said deadline, I'm stressing about changing the topic on top of the deadline. Pretty much what I'm saying is that I regret not finding out about My New Girlfriend Isn't Human sooner, because it's everything I like about self-published webcomics. And while I can't give it my end of year special slot now, because I've already made the video for that end of year special, well, I don't mind giving it something, well, close to that. My New Girlfriend Is Not Human is something new to this channel, a non-Japanese title. This is a Western published manga, and well, that's not a problem, just thought I would point it out since it's not every day we have to talk about Western manga. Anyway, this manga is about this dude, who I think is called Haru, going by his friend calling him that, who's living with his girlfriend, Tanya, who is, I'm presuming, is a Jorogumo, going by the fact she's a Spider Woman. Maybe not one for one, but still very neat. Anyway, the manga is just about these two living their lives out. And that's why I like it. It's just super simple and comfy. Like, sure, there's a little bit of drama that was weaved in with this terrible person, but apart from that, yeah, it's just about a couple that really loves each other. That's basically it, and I love it. I like how short and digestible it is as well, and how every chapter just fills me with a little bit of giddy. Like, I low-key just want to stop talking about it because I don't want to, like, spoil your reading experience by showing off too many of the pages. But there are some aspects I do want to talk about, so I'll just keep it brief. My favorite aspect of the manga is the relationship between Hanru and Taya. It's very simple and stripped back, which works greatly in its favor due to it. Like, I feel like a lot of romance manga, they have this tendency to oversell the relationship, even when the couple is already dating. And while I don't mind that at all, the way this title handles it by just stripping out all the fluff is very refreshing. Like, sometimes you don't need 20 chapters to show how connected a couple is, sometimes you just need 4. The mangaka knows you don't need to oversell the bond the two have, and utilizes it well. Actually, scrap what I said about my favorite aspect being the relationship. My favorite aspect is its simplicity. From its just lack of detailed backgrounds, its very simple yet roughish line work and toning, to its very basic relationship depiction, it uses simplicity, and it makes me feel very comfortable as a result. It's like a different kind of comfort though that I brought up in Batman though, because like, while Batman's comfortable nature comes from, well, nostalgia, this comes from a place of just being the bare essentials, I guess. I mean, I think the best way to just describe it, if I was to describe how it made me feel personally, I think the best way was to put it like, it's like being in the middle of a forest. Just sitting there on the ground and watching the sky through the trees, thinking about nothing, and just appreciating what you're seeing. I know that's a weird descriptor, but that's how it makes me feel, and I do love that feeling. And it's a feeling that I like. I feel like I can only get with these sort of, well, webcomics. One of my biggest regrets on this channel is this weird attempt I made at resurrecting a format from my old blog, and not only because its thumbnail makes me want to throw up in my mouth every time I think about it, but because it's also my first time I ever talked about a webcomic. And it made me sound like I really hate the concept, when really I don't. If anything, I hold huge amounts of respect for the medium, because there are things you can get away with in webcomics that you cannot normally get away with in normal manga. Like, let's take my favorite example now, I guess, which is 139 Ratio. That's its nickname. I'm not going to read its full name every time I talk about it. Its shorter chapters and liberal use of Photoshop filters is definitely something you wouldn't get away with in the traditional manga format, because, well, a publisher would likely want something more meatier to fill out their magazines, while not ramping up the cost on colored pages, because, you know, it's way more expensive to print in color than in black and white. In the case of this manga, though, specifically, switching back face on, its overall simple nature would definitely make it a turn-off to publishers. You know, once again, shorter, simple, wouldn't fill out a magazine, probably wouldn't draw the eye of, I guess, the widest audience, or their typical audience they would want. Pretty much what I'm saying is that I feel like some creators can thrive better in a webcomic format than they would in a traditional one. I mean, there's still pros to having a publisher, obviously, as there's certainly mangas that wouldn't exist without them. But what I'm trying to get at is that I'm really glad that webcomics exist, and that there's ways for these sort of artists that don't fit into the normal mold to still make a living by doing that these days. Which means we also get these, I guess, artists that wouldn't have a chance in the industry having a chance to grow their own audience organically anyway. It's just great. And I really love the webcomic format. It's like... Getting back on track. My New Girlfriend Is Not Human is a title that would in no way would have cropped up in the traditional industry pipeline. And if it did anyway, somehow, miraculously, it wouldn't be as good as its current version. That's for sure. That's basically all I wanted to say, so I'm going to end this video with a plug. Down below in the description, you will find links to the artist's Twitter, Blue Sky, because I know you people hate Twitter, and Patreon in place of my usual rambling. It's not like I use that space for saying anything important anyway, but please do consider subbing to their Patreon. I mean, $6.50 Australian dollars per month for early releases and other neat stuff is just way too cheap for something this good, which is why you should definitely do it if you can. I know I'll be doing it once my financial situation isn't as tight. Anyway, if you happen to stumble into this video, I think it's NeitheYAGI. I think that's how you pronounce your username, which I think is honestly highly unlikely that you would watch a video by a shitter like me, but if you are, thank you for your hard work, and I look forward to where you take this series and any other future series you end up doing in future. For the rest of you guys, I'll see you on the 31st of the actual end of the year video, okay? Alright, have a good Christmas.